If you guys want to support us even further, check out our Patreon. The link is in the description. Alright guys, we're here for another episode of 5 for Talking Leafs edition. I'm here with Nick Caps and Campo. So, watched the game last night against Pittsburgh. Got a little nerve-wracking when they took the lead 3-2. I thought I was going to see the old Leafs come into action here.
I felt the exact same way. I thought after the Gardner mishap, I was thinking to myself, here we go again. Here we go again. That's the last thing I wanted, but they got a playoff spot, man. They did it. They did it.
And in the easiest way possible, whether or not the Leafs made the playoffs, I think this season was great. I think people are putting too much pressure on them. I saw all the fans last night when the Leafs when they scored in their own net, and everyone was crying in the stands. You've been through this 100 times. Stop worrying about it now. You've been handed a gift in your hands for the future. In the team that they have, in the management that they have, in the coaching that they have, and regardless if we made it this year or not, we were going to make it anyways. Eventually. Next year, the year after, 100%. They're a solid team. They're going to only get better.
It's not that we were disappointed. It's more like if it was a couple months ago and we weren't in a playoff spot and we had no chance of making the playoffs, it would have been a different story. The fact that it comes down to a couple games and you're going to continuously lose, like against Tampa, that should have been a win.
Continuously lose or not. At the beginning of the year, you came into the season not expecting anything except to see what's going to happen for the future, okay? And you're going to be upset that they didn't make the playoffs now, even though you've planned this whole season to not make the playoffs, and you got a shot at it. That should be good enough just to show you what they're going to be.
I agree with you. But, again, I think that if they could have held it through, like if they clinched now, I'm happy for them, but
it's just a matter of you put all this work into creating this team, to creating like a winning environment. You just didn't want to lose it in that last week, and you know we just didn't want to fall back into the old ways of being a Leaf fan.
We are conditioned to lose, okay?
We've been
in Toronto. We know how to lose. The problem is we don't know how to win as fans. Like we get a little bit of winning, and all of a sudden they're going to win a Stanley Cup. Okay,
the fans are out of hand. I agree.
They're not. If they get out of the first round of the playoffs, I'm already happy enough just that they made the playoffs. If they get out of the first round, that's like the gift that we could have like dreamed of.
I agree 100%. But it was just a matter of you put all this hard work into it. You just didn't want to lose it. That's all. You just didn't want to lose it, and you could just tell that the players wanted it, and that's the best thing.
They wanted it because you have 6 players on the team that have 60 points, 60 plus points. They need, like, for them it's good. For the franchise it's good. For the fans it's good.
The motto for the city of Toronto sports, okay, should be want to win, be prepared to lose. I get it, we want to win, but we should always be ready to lose, because if it happens, you're gonna give up. Like, you have every team is winning right now except the Argos in Toronto
and the Blue Jays.
Not in a couple of years. This team will change that.
This team is a Stanley Cup contender in the future,
this team
guaranteed.
Will be a Stanley Cup contender. Thank you, Brendan Shanahan. Your plan has been executed to a T.
The Shana plan.
It is. It should be labeled a Shana plan, because this plan is been awesome. Bringing in an awesome coach, bringing in a fantastic GM, which is pure genius. Getting rid of all those old contracts, all those players that were part of that old Leaf team that were designed to lose, shipping them out and bringing all these new guys in. Fantastic. Genius.
Okay, I have to agree with something you said before, was that I was more happy to see Lamoriello than Babcock almost. Because, like, if you see his career that he had, man, he's been changing teams since the 80s. Like,
and you got to also think, too, that, like, how old is he? Like, does he want a Stanley Cup? Yeah, so they're making big-time moves to...
It was more of an advisor thing. Quicker. He's in there to help Shanahan get through his beginning of what he's doing, because he understands the ins and outs. And when you just throw a coach in like Babcock and the young players they have, like that, they're all 19. They don't know what winning is like. That was the biggest game of their life last night, I think. And in my opinion, I think McElhinney was amazing. Had maybe his best game of the season.
Yeah, it worried me a little bit to see Anderson get taken out of the game again. And I hope it's not long term.
And I agree with you, and it shouldn't be long term. But you know what? Like the thing that bugs me about that whole play is the fact that no teammate stuck up for the guy. Like this goes back to the Tampa game, Tampa versus the Lightning versus the Leafs, when Matthews had that knee-on-knee hit. Where are the teammates?
Yeah,
why weren't they sticking up for him?
If that was Crosby or McDavid, it would have been bench scraps.
Yeah.
That's why Edmonton brought Lucic in.
Maroon too.
If you've seen how fast Bozak reacted to the other hit when Kucherov hit him from behind, to see Bozak do that and to see nobody defend Matthews, or even last night with Anderson, like Pollock got in his face, pushed him, and then just skated away talking crap.
Yeah, like put out the fourth line, let Martin do something.
You need
for
to
a
bitch
change.
up. Like
let Boyle scrap somebody. A dirty hit, a clean hit. They need to answer it. They can't get away with it.
I agree with that, and I know that was going to happen eventually. But just the fact that when it actually happened, at that point in time, why isn't anybody sticking up for their star players?
They don't have enough power. And like you were saying, Pollock, he's having a way better season defensively. But he's not doing what he was originally there to do, which is like scare other players, like start hitting people.
I get that the NHL's trying to get away from that and the fighting and everything like that, but I mean there has to be an answer to plays like that. Something has to happen because teams are getting away with it. There's no penalty calls on some of them. You don't benefit
Caster
from it.
is going to tell you the same thing.
Players get hurt.
Personality on TV is going to tell you the same thing. Someone needs to stand up for him.
Yeah.
You know? Like, I get it. Okay, you fight too many times, you get suspended. There's that rule. But if it's, like, nobody's fighting at all. So, like, no, I don't understand.
What rule? Like, who cares about the rule?
If you take three fighting penalties, you get suspended.
But what's
who
the
cares?
Name of the guy
if you lose Martin, who's got 75 games played and 9 points, who cares? Let him get a suspension.
What's the name of the guy that hit Anderson?
Cezito. And he meant to hit him for sure. I don't know if he meant to hurt him, but he meant to hit him. He's trying to rattle it up. That's what he's there for.
They've already said it before that guy is a repeat offender. Okay, he's a repeat offender, and he probably didn't get any. He probably didn't get suspended.
Did he get a penalty?
There's no penalty on the call.
So the league's not even going to review it either, even if he is a repeat offender.
Yo, keep it easy with the repeat offenders, because Marchand's going to get mad and high stick you.
Or crotch shot you.
What's up with him? Like,
I don't know.
Is he
when is he gonna realize he's a that's what he does? Like, I get it. And they were saying on the radio how they think that if he stops playing that way, he won't play as good.
But he stayed away from it this year.
No, he didn't. He did it.
He had a couple incidents, but I mean, like dirtiness as in the past, and how many points he's produced this year.
The Pasternak hit, that was like the most dirtiest, biggest hit of the whole year.
Was that the hip check?
No, it was when he jumped into the guy's face and elbowed him.
Oh.
Marchand was going for the hit. He was going to hit that guy, and then all of nowhere, Pasternak just came out of nowhere and took the hit first. He was gonna do the same thing, just try to end a career. Like, get out of my way, like with that shit, man.
Well, he is.
If you want to be a goon, be a man. Player. Yeah, and then when someone stands up to him, he skates away like a little girl, like Sean Avery.
But I remember the last play where he did something to someone. I think he speared a guy, and then he was told to go to the penalty box. But then he was like telling the ref no, or something like that. Like he seems to be a little nuts.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Even Kucherov, when he did that hit from behind the other 2 nights ago, he literally just went and sat down on the bench. Like if he hid from them, they wouldn't notice him and he wouldn't get the penalty.
So where are the guys? Where are the guys that are supposed to be standing up for their teammates to go after these guys to make sure that this stuff doesn't happen again?
It's the coach. Maybe it's them saying like we don't need an answer to their dirtiness.
Listen, this coincides.
Stoop to their level.
This coincides with the defensive argument. Same thing. There's too many small little guys on defense on Toronto. There's not enough big bangers, heavy defensive players to make plays and make stops and to fight people. You got Zaitsev, Gardner, Riley, even Carrick stood up to somebody, so I'll give him credit. But those three guys are not. Riley's not fighting anybody. Riley's not even going to hit anybody.
He's not even going to score on anybody either.
Well, they brought in Martin, they brought in Boyle, but I don't think that I've seen Martin fight in the last little while. Like,
I don't know what they're here for. Like, Matt Martin was the hit leader last year, I believe it was. And he came into this with... I don't see any leading at all with him.
They signed him to a pretty decent contract for a fourth-line player, but...
Yeah.
But here's the thing, like... You have Martin, you have Boyle. You got to utilize them much better. Like, they got to bring in some guys to bring in the toughness. They need toughness on this team.
Bring him back. Let the big boys bang.
Is he still playing in the AHL?
Probably.
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure he's done.
Has he retired? Or
that I don't know.
Yeah, so at least brought in Dan Boyle here to win face-offs and everything like that. And they were looking at long term as well. So, like, they saw the potential of them to reach the playoffs, win face-offs, play on the PK, do what he has to do.
But I also thought he was brought in here to bring in a strong presence. The guy's for 6'7". He's to me, that should be intimidating to some of the other players, to the opposition.
Yeah, but also you got to remember,
don't mess with my star players. That's what you should be.
You got to remember about the playoff experience that he has himself as well, right?
Yeah, I know he's the player that played the most playoff games since the lockout, I believe.
They brought him in here for experience. They brought him in here definitely for the defensive aspect. I'll give it to that, and to win faceoffs. I don't know if he's really here to be a tough guy, but he should be more of a tough guy than he is.
I don't genuinely like our fourth line. They're hardworking players and everything like that, but I mean they don't really produce much.
I want to see Boyle on a line with Soshnikov and Kapanen.
That'll be good.
And I want to see Martin on the line with Matthews and Nylander, and I want
That'll be good.
I want Hyman back in the AHL.
Hyman?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. Hyman and Connor Brown, to me, like we said before in the other previous episodes, they're rookie players, but they have no finish, they have no skill, they have no star power. Like they don't have
those other two lines work. I would leave both those lines and not even mess with those. Bozak, and Marner.
Their line is solid.
And Komarov, Kadri, and
Brown
should be moved more towards the second or third line because they're more of a grinder line.
They are a grinder line.
It's good with them on the first line because they're always facing the best line of the other team, which I think is so important.
But Brown has been a pretty good surprise. He's got 20 goals this season for a guy that I don't think should be on that type of a line. But he's been a pretty good surprise. Zach Hyman, okay. I think I mentioned in the last episode, this guy should not be on the same line as Nylander and Matthews. Last night he had many chances. He had an open net and he still screwed up.
He's a good player, but to be on a line with Matthews and Nylander, yeah, you're gonna get points. It's like playing with Crosby. You could put like we said before, you could put a pylon out there with Crosby. The pylon will get points.
The only reason why Matthews doesn't have more assists is because he has nobody set up for
to
the
finish. Exactly, season. And they took away Nylander for some part of the season as well from him. So, in my opinion, like they need to find somebody to bring in to put him on the left wing. Anybody, you could put Kapanen up there, and if that's not actually a bad idea. That's actually not a bad idea.
I would really just like to see Boyle with his talent and skill as a big man, as a playmaker defensively, with the experience he has to play with Kapanen and Soshnikov. I think that will benefit both of them, and that line will be so fast on the wings with the big centerman to stand in front.
It'll develop them.
Fine, then leave that as is. But I believe there's a left winger out there that you could bring in without blowing up the plan, Shanny plan, okay, and just complement Nylander and Matthews. Here's an idea: go to the KHL, okay, go to the St. Petersburg team. Since Lamoriello's got a history with the guy, bring in Kovalchuk. Kovalchuk, okay? He's still playing at an elite level. Bring him in. He's a premier left winger. My God, that line would be friggin' amazing.
I just want to point out how you wanted to bring in a left winger, and then you literally didn't name any left wingers in the NHL. You went so deep down the list to bring up a player who hasn't played in 6 years.
Because the reason why I mentioned Ivo Kovalchuk is because you don't have to make a trade. You just got to bring him in without giving up any assets.
Losing anybody.
I agree with that. I'm not upset. I think that's a great move, and he's at an age where he could still score goals, and he could bring some experience.
He can just sit there and finish off plays.
You put him out there on practices and stuff with guys like Marner and Nylander and Kapanen and Soshkov who are shooters, and let him just teach them what he did in his career, and I think that would be awesome. And
then the other thing, the guy's a tough player. I've seen him drop the gloves before too.
He's huge. He's like 6'4", 6'5".
There you go. There's a Matthews bodyguard.
Not to mention
right
he's a star as well in the NHL.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't know how many years he's been away from the league, but the last team he played for was for Jersey. Who was the GM? Lamoriello. So why not? I don't know. They need to bring. I think they just gotta find a left winger to complement Matthews and Nylander. And to me, Hyman, yes, he's a grinder. He battles. He does all that stuff. He just doesn't finish. He can't finish anything. The guy's got, what, 8 goals?
Yeah, he has hands of stone. They should put him out there with Emilio Estevez. Let them do the egg thing. Soft hands.
8 goals. 5 of them were on the scored shorthanded. So
yeah, I agree.
He's good on the PK. He is good on the PK.
Absolutely. Connor Brown's great on the PK. You got these guys are great on the PK, but to me, he's just a bona fide third line, fourth line player.
He's a fifth line player. Send him down to the AHL. If he doesn't show in the AHL next season that he's better than he is, then you scrap him. You don't.
That's
use
what
him
confuses
anymore.
me too from the beginning of the season is why wouldn't you bring up Kapanen from the start?
He's too
instead
young.
of bringing
they
up
were
Hyman.
He wouldn't be ready.
How old is he?
Like 18.
Really?
Yeah. Or 19, but he has much less experience in high stakes situations than Marner does. Marner made it to the finals, I think, twice in the
I'm
OHL.
not talking about
Team
taking
Canada.
out Marner though.
No, but I mean
talking about
that's
Hyman
why,
and Connor Brown. He's better than both of them.
At that age group, Hyman's like 24 or 23. He's not young. He's already like played for a while.
That's definitely hard to say about Kapanen because Kapanen scored his first goal last night in a high pressure game. Okay, they took the lead. That goal is pretty much what brought him into the playoffs.
I'm not disagreeing with him. I really like Kapanen. We've been going to the Marlies games, and I've been saying I really like Kapanen. I like Kirby Reichel too, but
you could talk about it also as well. He's played 6-7 games and he has 1 goal. Kapanen, right?
It's not about how many goals, and I think he is ready to play now. He just needed more time in the AHL to develop his game. They saw how good he was. He's so fast. He's unbelievably fast.
If Fair and who's the other guy that got injured?
Levo?
Shoshnikov. If those guys didn't get injured, Levo didn't get injured, you wouldn't see Kapanen this year at all.
Well, you had 3 injuries back to back to back. That's what I mean. But next year, I guarantee you would have seen the removal of Hyman and Kapanen get moved into the team, I think.
Potentially. I'd rather keep Hyman and get rid of Brown.
But does Boyle have any contract left?
I think he's done this year.
So you know what? I don't know if the Leafs are going to be able to agree with him on a decent contract. He's going to want money.
I'd definitely give it to Boyle.
I wouldn't be too aggressive. I wouldn't be too aggressive with it because there's other players you can look at. Not fourth liners, but
if their forwards right now do not improve on their face-offs, then I think that they should keep Boyle.
But Bozak is still the best face-off guy on the Leafs.
Yeah,
and he got 55 points. All the doubters who told me that Bozak wasn't going to be good this year,
he had a career year.
Yeah, and I said he was going to. He's been.
Thank you, Marner.
He's been waiting for this.
But that has a lot to do with his teammates.
Yeah, but Bozak
it does. JVR and Marner.
Okay,
it's like Bozak playing with Phil Kessel.
But Bozak has had this talent. He showed it before. He got 49 points in the shortened season.
He's a good player, but he needs better players around him.
Yeah, but everybody needs better players around them unless you're like a top tier Sidney Crosby. The difference is you have Sidney Crosby out there with a guy that if you put him anywhere else is going to be trash. Bozak will do the same thing no matter where you put him as long as he has just people around.
Yeah.
If you take like one of those Sheary or whatever and you put him on a really bad team like not Florida, but you know what I mean, like Phoenix, he's going to do nothing at all. Bozak will still win faceoffs. Bozak will still get 50 points. Look at how good Peter Holland did when he went to Phoenix. Like, I'm not saying he's good. I'm happy he's gone.
He's not a bad player.
He's not a bad player. It's just that he needs people around him to make him better, obviously.
All right.
But
I don't know.
So how are they going to do in the playoffs?
How are they going to do in the playoffs?
How are they going to do the playoffs?
I'm a diehard fan. I'm going to say they're going to get it out of the first round.
As
of right now, it looks like they're facing Ottawa.
I'm a knockout. For me, either way it goes, it's the same result for me. Whether it's Toronto or Boston, whatever place.
They face Ottawa if they get a point out of today's game, right?
Yeah.
Supposedly, yes.
Yes, they do. And if they lose, they face Washington.
What a great way to...
You could still lose in overtime.
Really
That's okay.
That's fine. Yeah, as long as they get the point.
We're good at that.
But it'd be nice to see them, whoop Ottawa's butt.
With the momentum lately,
it'd be good to face Ottawa because we beat Ottawa in the playoffs all the time.
To come off playing so poorly for the last little while, and then to beat Pittsburgh last night in the fashion that they did, and for Matthews to get his 40th goal, they're gonna go in tonight so pumped. If Bobrovsky's not playing, I'm saying the Leafs are gonna smash
Saucy
them.
Matthews.
I say the Leafs will smash them if Bobrovsky's out, which I'm pretty sure he is.
All part of the Shanny plan, Matthews.
And you don't bench those guys; you play them. Let them keep their momentum going into the playoffs.
I wouldn't bench them either.
Why not? They're young kids. Let them develop. Isn't Torella like crying because they're playing their A team or something?
And that was gonna happen. That was bound to happen.
That's total.
Yeah, but we actually have something to play for though, because we need the point.
And Babcock said it last night, even after last night's game, that he said he was going to play these guys. So I don't know what Tortorella is crying about.
It's Tortorella, man.
All the Leafs had to do was get a point against Tampa Bay or the game before, and they wouldn't be in this situation.
Tampa Bay wanted that win so bad, they did not care.
They are 7-1-2 in the last 10 games.
Yeah, they're on fire.
And that game scared me because Toronto did not play like a team that wanted to be in the playoffs.
Or even a playoff team.
Yeah. So...
But
these games are playoff atmosphere.
They have their flashes of brilliance. I say out of every 4 games, you get 2 good ones and 2 bad ones. You just don't know what order you're going to get it in. Because when they shut down on defensively, which they don't even already have good defense, but I've seen them just like completely turn off the defense, and I don't know what they're doing. They just keep trying to score goals, and they don't score.
Well, they got players that are pretty streaky. I mean, Gardner can be streaky at times, A lot of those guys have bad games. Morgan Riley's had bad games this year.
But if you're a defenseman and you're having a bad year, Morgan Riley, turn your focus, practice playing defense, and play defense hard. Show your talents some other way. You can't score exactly basketball. Westbrook the other day, he went for assist because he couldn't score. That's what he said. He couldn't get the ball in the net, so he started giving the ball to other players.
You're totally right, because his offensive game is not there this year. From the beginning of the season, it was not there. Why don't you just develop your defensive aspect of your game and literally show it on the ice? Don't even skate up.
I think that had a lot to do with the fact that he was shuffling a lot of guys in the beginning of the season. I mean, we saw Merchant, who totally
not
failed.
NHL caliber.
I said it from the beginning of the season that this guy was not going to be that great. They brought in the guy. They traded for him at the trade deadline.
Marchenko.
They got him off waivers.
They got him off of waivers.
That was a good pick.
He's pretty good.
That was a good pickup.
But that was a Babcock.
He's a filler player. He's a filler player for us right now. I think he should be playing over Hunwick overall, but Hunwick, I think it's his time
I like
to play.
Connor Carrick.
He's been
I'm going to stick with that.
I like Connor Carrick.
I'd say your extra defenseman on your team is Hunwick and Marchenko, who can both be extra defensemen next year. When you need to bring in one more big body to play with Morgan Riley, so that he has someone to sit there with him and cover his ass when he pinches.
You need to bring in a defenseman that is so defensive that no one's going to score on him. His plus minus is going to be through the roof.
Yeah, that's all his game is. To stay at home and never skates up.
Morgan Riley can literally do his offensive thing that he always does instead of worrying about playing defense the whole game.
Jay Bouwmeester-ish,
Yeah.
Not only Morgan Riley, but Jay Gardner could do his thing as well.
I don't know what his thing is. He should be playing left wing.
He might be more successful. I mean,
you put him up there with Matthews.
At this point, I'd try anybody on left wing with Matthews, man.
You're just a left winger right now, eh?
What was that?
You're just feeling left wing?
Trade for Tyler Hall.
I could just play left wing. I'm good with the green color anyways.
Well, I mean, look at Matthews got 40 goals and 20 assists. Okay? It seems to me he was trying to do everything on his own, all right? If he would have guys in the caliber of the way he plays, I'm pretty sure
if he had Nylander with him all season.
Yeah, exactly. You're totally right with that, because if Nylander played with him the whole season, Nylander's slump wouldn't have been as long.
Yeah.
When he had that gap, because the chemistry would have built from there.
But this is the season. Like I was saying, you can't be upset by this year. This is a rebuild year. To do what we did is already good enough, whether we made the playoffs or not. You're shuffling around lines constantly to find the connection. You found it now. You know how it works. Or you're just missing 1 or 2 little tweaks and pieces to fill in. You have the goalie. You have the centers now. Now, next year, you're in place. You know where to go with it. And you know when there's an injury, who can replace who.
I don't expect them to win in the playoffs. I wanted them to win in the playoffs. But what they did that was excellent is these young players get the playoff experience in their first year. So that next time they make the playoffs,
I agree.
All those shivers and jitters, everything is out the window. You're there to play hockey.
This is just icing on the cake. You want the players to have that taste
experience
of playoff action. Okay,
I agree. That's what I'm saying. I 100% agree, and I want this.
And so
but
do
I'm
the
not.
fans.
I would not have been disappointed had they not made the playoffs because of what you gave me. You showed me
successful
what you
season.
can
Agreed.
be.
if you would have asked me that 2 months ago, I would agree with you. Not this last week though, because they made it. It just got to a point where all they needed was 1 point to get in, and the last thing I wanted was to just them to like crumble and not get in, and have two teams that were behind them catch up to them and make it into the playoffs. That's the last thing I wanted.
And for it to also end up being the second last game of the season, that's cutting it close.
I know, but this is an exciting time. Whether we won or lose, we made the playoffs. That's something to celebrate. If we didn't make the playoffs, we shouldn't be down on it.
No,
Things
I
you should
wouldn't
be
be
upset
down,
about
but...
is like when you're the Raptors and you know you're gonna have to face Cleveland and you're not gonna win, or when you're the Blue Jays and you're putting up amazing seasons 2 years in a row, best team in the league, and you get knocked out so easily like that. That's disappointing. The Leafs are not disappointing. This is a pleasure to watch this. Disappointing is going to overtime with TFC and losing, like, with no shots on net.
Alright guys, this ends off this Leaf edition of 5 for Talking. Our next episode will be covering our playoff brackets and predictions, also our award predictions.